Alright, let's dive into something that's both fascinating and, honestly, a little alarming. You've probably heard about the recent warnings in Louisiana about flesh-eating bacteria at the beach, right? But here's the thing, this isn't just a local issue. It's part of a bigger, more complex story that ties into climate change, public health, and even our love for seafood. So, let's break it down. First off, what's this bacteria we're talking about? It's called Vibrio vulnificus, and it's not your average beach souvenir. This thing thrives in warm, salty water, which makes the Gulf Coast its ideal playground. Personally, I think what makes this really interesting is how it's not just about swimming in the ocean. You can get infected by eating raw or undercooked shellfish, especially oysters. And here's the kicker, you can't tell if an oyster is contaminated just by looking at it. That's a detail I find fascinating, and frankly, a little terrifying. Now, let's talk numbers. Louisiana has reported 9 cases this year, with 5 fatalities. That's a higher death rate than the average over the past decade. Florida, another hotspot, has seen 14 cases and 2 deaths so far. What many people don't realize is that these numbers aren't just random. They're tied to environmental factors, like warmer waters and more frequent storms. If you take a step back and think about it, this raises a deeper question. How much is climate change playing a role here? Scientists say the bacteria is spreading northward, about 30 miles each year, thanks to rising temperatures. That's not just a local problem, it's a global trend. In my opinion, one of the most overlooked aspects of this story is who's most at risk. It's not just anyone who steps into the water. People with weakened immune systems, liver disease, diabetes, or chronic illnesses are particularly vulnerable. This bacteria doesn't discriminate, but it does target those who are already fighting other battles. What this really suggests is that public health messages need to be more targeted. It's not enough to say, be careful at the beach. We need to educate specific communities about their risks. Now, let's talk prevention. The CDC has some solid advice. Wash any cuts or scrapes with soap and water immediately after being in coastal waters. Avoid raw shellfish if you're at higher risk. And if you're cooking seafood, make sure it's done right. But here's where it gets tricky. How many people actually follow this advice? Personally, I think there's a gap between knowing the risks and changing behavior. It's like sunscreen, we all know we should use it, but how many of us actually reapply every 2 hours? What makes this really interesting is how it connects to broader trends. We're seeing more cases of waterborne illnesses globally, not just in the US. This isn't just about one bacteria or one beach, it's about how we interact with our environment. From my perspective, this is a wake-up call. We can't keep treating the ocean like it's an endless resource without consequences. Whether it's pollution, overfishing, or climate change, everything is connected. So, here's my closing thought. Next time you're at the beach, enjoy it, but be smart. Wash those cuts, cook your seafood, and maybe think twice about that raw oyster. But also, think bigger. This isn't just about personal safety, it's about how we're reshaping our planet. What do you think? Are we doing enough to protect ourselves and our environment? Let me know in the comments. And hey, if you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep the conversation going.